What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. This is the starting 11 prediction for the Falkirk video, and obviously a discussion about the news that broke yesterday. I was going to put out last night, but I've had a busy week, so I'm sorry it's late. I think this is the first time I've ever done a preview for a game on the same day as the game. I think there's still like 9 or 10 hours to kick off though, so get plenty of time to watch it. We've got to start today by talking about the big news that's been developing over the last couple of days, and then last night that Eddie Howe looks like he has agreed in principle to become the next Celtic manager or head coach or whatever you want to call it. I think we'll see what the title is if and when it gets confirmed. This is obviously massive news. I think the last time, we made a video, my video with Martin was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. It's developed rapidly since then because me and Martin were talking about how much of an ideal candidate we think Eddie Howe is, but it was all relatively in the early stages of the rumours back in the middle of the week, and since then it's just grew arms and legs, and it's really had the credibility of mainstream media. But I think a shout out has to go to the guys who have took a lot of flack for putting out the information that they got, and there's obviously a lot of people on Twitter and social media who like to cane everybody who thinks they pretend that they're in the know, but there has been a couple of guys who have been ahead of the curve on this one, well ahead of the mainstream media, and they deserve a lot of credit. I'm massively excited by the prospect of Eddie Howe becoming the Celtic manager. He is the number one outstanding candidate for me of all the names who have been linked to the job. All the credible names, obviously there was talk about Roberto Martinez and Benitez early doors, but that was never going to happen. Of all the realistic names linked with the job, Eddie Howe is the outstanding candidate for me. He strikes me as a meticulous, modern, forward-thinking training ground manager who has a fantastic grasp and understanding of the tactical side of the game, which is obviously massive in this day and age. He looks like a good man manager. I've been watching so many videos, interviews with him, videos about him on YouTube and everything over the past few days. He does seem to have an edge to him as well. There's a great video of Nathan Ake talking about how much of a rollicking he got from Eddie Howe in a game against Burnley at half time. I think a lot of people think that you're either a tactical manager or you're a pure motivator. But I think the good managers, the really good managers, the top managers, they can do everything. And I think Eddie Howe has a bit of that. There's obviously no guarantees in football, and we're still waiting and hoping that it's going to get officially confirmed early next week. But I think he's a fantastic manager. I think this is blockbuster for Celtic, and we might have to be patient. We might have to be relatively patient with him. We know there's going to be a lot of change at the club and a lot of turnover in terms of the squad, a new chief executive, a lot of big level changes at the football club. But I think we're going to give ourselves the best chance to succeed with Eddie Howe as the head coach or the manager. I'm really excited about it. We will have a lot more discussion around this. We'll get the team on and get their thoughts on it as well, if and when it is officially confirmed, which hopefully looks like it's going to be early next week. But I'm massively excited. As I say, he's the outstanding candidate for me, and I'm really optimistic about what Celtic can achieve with Eddie Howe as the manager. Looking ahead to tonight's game then, Falkirk in the Scottish Cup, a mad kick-off time. I couldn't tell you the last time that Celtic played at 7:30 on a Saturday night. I think the fact there's no crowds is a big factor in that. I don't think they'd let us in at 7:30 on a Saturday night. Everybody'd be absolutely bluttered. So it's a strange kick-off time. It's one of the few games between now and the end of the season, obviously, that has a tangible target for us. It's a game that means something because it's a knockout competition, it's a cup competition, it's the only competition that we can still win this season. So these games are massively important for us. I don't think John Kennedy's going to make wholesale changes to the team. There might be one or two, but I don't expect a massively weakened side because the season has been so disappointing, and we can't afford to take these games lightly and slip up, because this is the last chance we've got to try and salvage something and win some silverware this season. So I expect these games to be treated with the respect that they deserve, because we've got to go and put in a decent showing in the Scottish Cup and do our best to try and win it, because for all this season's been a disaster, it would be nice to finish it with some silverware and then hopefully, as I say, look ahead to the new era in the summer, hopefully under Eddie Howe, and really end the season on a positive note, because there hasn't been any positive notes this season, and the Scottish Cup is the only avenue to try and get some positivity at the end of the season. So here goes then. In goals, I think it will be Scott Bain. I don't expect any change there. I definitely don't expect Barkas to come in. I think Bain will just be the goalkeeper between now and the end of the season, whether it's the league games, whether it's the Scottish Cup. I think it'll still be a back four. I think it will be John Joe Kenny. Stephen Welsh will be in there alongside Christopher Ayer, I would expect. At left back, Laxalt probably one of his better games against Rangers the last time out. I think Greg Taylor might get the nod in this game. I think he'll complete the back four. In midfield, I think Sorrow might get the nod over Scott Brown. Obviously, Scott Brown is going to be leaving the club. We've talked about that. That's obviously going to be a big thing at the end of the season, and hopefully, again, if we can win the Scottish Cup, it'd be a great way for Scott Brown to leave the club, because he's been so successful here. He's won so many honours, and it'll be disappointing that there can't be a full stadium there to give him a send-off. So in place of that, the best send-off is to win the Scottish Cup. I think he might start on the bench tonight. Sorrow will be in midfield alongside McGregor. I think on the right-hand side, we're going to see James Forrest come back into the team and start a game. It's a great opportunity to get minutes in James Forrest's legs. He's obviously had a wee bit of time off the bench against Dundee United and then against Rangers, but it's a great opportunity to start him tonight. And if we can get 60, 65 minutes out of him, I think that will do him the world of good. And he can just keep building up towards match fitness and towards sharpness. It's obviously probably the time he gets to full match fitness. It's going to be the end of the season again. But he can hopefully be a big player for us if he stays fit next season. And as I say, this is a great opportunity to get him back in the starting lineup and get those minutes into his legs. In the 10, I think it will be David Turnbull. There's no doubt about that. As I say, I don't think there's going to be wholesale changes, and I think David Turnbull is an integral part of the team just now, particularly in a creative sense. So I think Turnbull will start in the 10. On the left-hand side, I expect El Yunusi to play there. We don't have a great deal of options on the left-hand side, the same way it has been on the right-hand side for most of the season. I don't think Mikey Johnson is back for injury yet, or at least not to my knowledge. So I think El Yunusi, who again, one of the better performers against Rangers, I think he'll start out there on the left-hand side. And I think Patrick Klimala will start up front. Edouard's been away with the France under-21s, scoring goals again. He's been in a rich vein of form, Odsonne Edouard. But because he's travelled away and he's played 2 or 3 games, I think he might just start on the bench tonight. And I can't make my mind up. I mean, yet he's been nowhere near it for weeks since John Kennedy's took over. Griffiths has had a few minutes off the bench, but Klimala did get the start in Kennedy's first game against Aberdeen, so I think Klimala might just get the nod tonight. I know there's been talk about him maybe going as well in the summer, talk about Griffiths potentially leaving as well, so there's going to be a massive, massive rebuild in all areas of the pitch. But tonight I think Klimala might just get the nod, and Edouard can be on the bench if and when we need him in the game. That's the team that I think we'll go with. Like the video, comment your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you tonight after the game for all the full-time reaction as normal. Cheers.